maybe.
Ted, I want to make sure you're seated because I'm going to come to the defense of buy and bill. So here's why I will defend the system. The reason I'll defend the system is it didn't like spring forth fully formed yesterday. Right? It evolved, right? It evolved with the migration of cancer care from the hospital setting in the 80s to cancer care in the more convenient community setting. But the problem was the community setting didn't have a way to deliver that care because it's infrastructurally complicated. And so there had to be a way to pay for it. And so where we got messed up, and so it is the way it is. And once in a while, somebody gets this brilliant idea that we should shift all the medical benefit to the pharmacy benefit and we should white bag every drug. And I say, that will be my last day because the cancer system will disintegrate on that day.
Right.
And you can find me on a beach somewhere because I won't be around to listen to you because that's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Right.
The truth of the matter is it got corrupted because somebody decided, somebody in Washington, I think, that doctors were giving more expensive drugs to make more money. And that, you can say that was the origin of MMA or whatever, but the truth of the matter is there's plenty of evidence now, including most recently the Much Ballyhooed United project, which shows that in fact is not the case. Doctors do not generally make therapeutic decisions based on margin. Does that mean they don't like the margin? No. Does that mean the margin partially goes into their pocket? Of course it does. It does. But a lot of the margin goes to supporting infrastructure, and I'm okay with that. I would like a system that could transition from that model that is perceived to be conflicted to a model that is more rationally based on performance, outcome, services. But the math is very, very difficult, one. Two, the alternative delivery model is equally difficult because you can criticize it as much as you want, but it is highly efficient.
Right.
Highly efficient.
Exactly.
And so the idea that a patient would come in and their chemotherapy didn't get delivered or got mixed up, that's a world we don't want to live in. That's just a world we will not tolerate. So I'm okay with talking about solutions. Could you have a solution? Yeah, I think you could have a just-in-time solution and you could transition. I think that's possible. It would require a lot of agreement because you can't have one payer doing that and another payer doing something else. Then it gets to be ridiculously complicated from an administrative perspective for the practice. So we should aspire to migrating to a more rational model, but I think, unfortunately, we're stuck with the one we have.
And I think the point about it is just that when we have a change like what's going on with the oral oncolytics, it was a way to compensate oncologists, and I agree, it wasn't being abused, truly. I mean, what you weren't seeing that. But that was the system we had. Yes. Now there's a change in the system, yes, which is, and it goes back to, okay, we are paying oncologists. This is another way to compensate them fairly. We'll do it through the drug administration there. Now when that's taken away, now the issue is how do we compensate oncologists fairly as this is coming out of their practice? Now, do we allow them to share in this part of the drug thing, or is this an opportunity to migrate the payment system? And that, I think, that's the only point.
I'll just add,